Marco Rubio was asked a question about abortion in the debate last night, and his answer was terrible. But it was terrible not just for policy reasons, but also for politics reasons. Let's watch.
You favor a rape and incest exception to abortion bans. Cardinal Timothy Dolan of New York just said yesterday those exceptions are preposterous. He said they discriminate against an entire class of human beings. If you believe that life begins at conception, as you say you do, how do you justify ending a life just because it begins violently through no fault of the baby?
Well, Megan, first of all, I'm not sure that that's a correct assessment of my record. I would go on to add that I believe all...
You don't favor a rape and an incest exception?
I have never said that, and I have never advocated that. What I have advocated is that we pass a law in this country that says all human life at every stage of its development is worthy of protection. In fact, I think that law already exists. It's called the Constitution of the United States. And let me go further. I believe that every single human being is entitled to the protection of our laws, whether they can vote or not, whether they can speak or not, whether they can hire a lawyer or not, whether they have a birth certificate or not. And I think future generations will look back at this history of our country and call us barbarians for murdering millions of babies who we never gave them a chance to live.
Oh, they're going to call you barbarians, but for the opposite reason of the one you think. We're not barbarians because we have abortion. Every modern nation has abortion. We'd be barbarians because of people like you who are knuckle draggers who still think that abortion is debatable and you want to take it away. And also we'll be called barbarians because we're the world's only superpower and we're an imperialist nation and we have 900 military bases around the world in 150 different countries and we did an aggressive war against Iraq. We invaded a country that did not attack us and hundreds of thousands of people died and the CIA did torture and it's very open and Dick Cheney and George Bush are still walking around even though they're fucking war criminals. And I could continue. Yes, we will be looked at as barbarians, but not for the reasons you think because you're not an intelligent person, which is clear as you're proving right here. So, I mean, just look at that, man. I like it when they just make stuff up and nobody fucking challenges them. Like, I think we already have something that outlaws abortion. The Constitution. Except it doesn't. Do you know anything about the history of the Supreme Court cases on abortion? First it was Roe v. Wade, and then later on there was a fetal viability case which slightly changed the standard on abortion. And the idea is a woman has a total right to choose up until a certain point, that point being viability, and then after that, the states can individually do whatever kind of regulations that they want. So this idea of like, the Constitution outlaws abortion, but it doesn't. You just made that up. That's not true. So it's just dead wrong. He's just dead wrong. And of course, on a Republican debate stage, you know, Megyn Kelly and Chris Wallace, while they may have asked some decent questions, they're not going to be like, actually, that's not correct according to case law and U.S. Supreme Court history. They're just not going to do it, which is pathetic because they should. But look at just the way that Megyn Kelly framed the question. Look at what Marco Rubio did. She's like, some fucking cardinal dickhead said it's preposterous to have exceptions for rape and incest. For abortion, so you allow them when there's a rape or if it's incest. It's preposterous that exists. And what did Marco Rubio do? He's like, me? No, I never said I wanted a rape and incest exception. I want to outlaw all abortions ever. I never want any kind of exceptions, even if there's a fatal fetal defect, even if the life of the mother is in danger. An embryo's a life, a zygote's a life, a gamete's a life. So just because of the way Megyn Kelly framed the question, where one jackass said it's preposterous to have these exceptions, he's like, I want to outlaw all abortion. How about that? So remember, I said it's dumb for policy reasons. It's obvious that it's dumb for policy reasons. That's a moronic idea. But for politics reasons, it's bad too. Why do I say that? Because he's too deep in that right-wing bubble here. Because he doesn't understand that the rest of the country, the overwhelming majority of the American public is in favor of abortion in some circumstances. They all draw a line somewhere, like most people around viability, for example, but the polls show that very clearly. It's only like whatever it is, between 10 and 20% of the American public that wants to outlaw all abortion in all cases. And he's so far deep in that right-wing bubble that he gets asked a question that's phrased a certain way, and he's like, I'm only with 10% or 20% of the American people. That's who I'm with. Well, that's wonderful. He's ruining his chances. He doesn't even realize he's ruining his chances. Again, why? I come back to one of my main points. He's just not that bright. Marco Rubio is an empty suit. He'll parrot whatever he thinks will get him the most pats on the back at that moment, and that's what he did right here. Now, remember this, because if Marco Rubio were to get through the primary and get to the general election, I guarantee you, he'll be asked a question about abortion, and he will change his position.